Welcome to Starfield Signal, your place for everything Starfield. We got some big news today about Starfield. I wanted to get this information out to you as soon as possible. The headline is the truth about the Starfield PS5 rumor, and I'm going to do my best to give you the info. So let's get started so we're not just spreading rumors. I want you to see where this information actually comes from and what you need to know about it. So let's head over to our screen here. This all starts with Xbox Era's exclusive reporting on this. Exclusive, Microsoft plans Starfield launch for PlayStation 5. That is the headline. Already has 109,000 views after being uploaded yesterday, February 4th. It does say that it was updated today. And so we'll go down to the bottom of the screen to see what that update is. Original report says, according to sources, we understand that currently Microsoft are planning a launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5 post-release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC, which is on target to arrive at some point later this year. We've also been informed that Microsoft have made additional investment into PlayStation 5 dev kits to support this ongoing development efforts, adding further fuel to the fire. So those are two different pieces of information they've received from separate sources about Microsoft planning launch on Starfield, and then an additional piece of information that says they've invested into, that Microsoft has invested into additional PlayStation 5 dev kits. And so that's kind of one support of it. I want to scroll down to the bottom of this article to see. Okay, so it just looks like the update is, according to our sources, Microsoft senior leadership have reportedly debated the various pros and cons of releasing more of their exclusive software elsewhere and internally. Not everyone is necessarily happy with the decision, but recouping the potential money left on the table by releasing elsewhere has arguably won out. According to sources, Hi-Fi Rush, the Hi-Fi Rush's release on rival platforms is tentatively planned for Q1 this year, and we've been advised to expect Microsoft to make a more public announcement on this new strategy this month, so sometime in February. This is reported by John, don't know how to pronounce that, Clark from Xbox Era. A few initial thoughts here and points of clarification before we move on to some corroborating pieces of information. Again, this is John Clark from Xbox Era who made this original exclusive report. So they have had somebody reach out to them who's familiar with Xbox, somebody on the inside who is close with them, and they've had that piece of information communicated to them that there are plans for Starfield to launch on PlayStation 5. Received the second piece of information that Xbox is investing in more PlayStation 5 dev kits for their studios to develop for PlayStation 5. A couple of things here on X, just people getting information out quickly. Nate the Hate, who is a pretty credible leaker, insider, has a lot of insider information. He says this report is accurate. Starfield will land on PlayStation. I've heard similar, but opted to wait on reporting this information until the PS5 release time was finalized. As this report states, PS5 release will come after the arrival of the expansion DLC on Xbox PC. So it seems like Nate the Hate already knew about this, but wanted to wait until maybe more pieces of information were public or clarified, or they even had a decision made on them until he wanted to say anything about this. So he's saying that yes, he believes this information is correct, and that it corroborates, doesn't confirm anything, but it corroborates that he has also heard that the PS5 version will release after the initial DLC of Shattered Space later this year. So that's good that we also see more reports coming in that Shattered Space will launch this year. All good things there, but maybe some people won't be excited about PlayStation release. We'll come back to that a little bit here later in the video. Let's keep giving you more pieces of information here. Xbox, from Jess Corden, the managing editor at Windows Central. Xbox is reportedly going to release Starfield on PlayStation 5. Is this the death of Xbox? Is the death of Xbox exclusive nigh? The whys and risk. And he actually has a really great article. We probably won't get into that in this video, but if you're interested on kind of teasing this out, maybe from a more industry focused perspective as opposed to like a player-based perspective, check out his link. I'll try to put that in the description below. Jez also further clarified, he said, for clarity, I'm saying that multi-platform stuff for Xbox is happening, not necessarily that Sarah Bond will announce it. And so he's not exactly sure if Sarah Bond's going to be the one making that decision or necessarily making that announcement towards the end of the month. That may be a Phil Spencer thing, it may be a Matt Booty thing, it may be them all together. He doesn't know. But then he gives a little hot take on it. Would be awful to let Sarah take the heat for this. So maybe indicating that he doesn't think this is a great move, or at least that it's going to have a lot of pushback from players. We'll have to see. He continues on. Microsoft has essentially decided they aren't going to make enough money with the current strategy. They want to build their healthier margins and cash flows using Sony's install base, and then reinvest them into growing the Xbox ecosystem using that money. Excuse me. All right. And then last little piece of information here, and then we'll kind of get into the more of the opinion based part of this video. King Gronk Nick, Special Nick, at Special Nick, who is also a credible leaker and has access to insider information. He states, sadly, Starfield isn't where the plans end. Reckon you'll probably see Hellblade 2 as well. And I remember seeing, and I couldn't find it again, but I remember seeing Rand Al Thor, who is also usually privy to information on the inside of Xbox. He mentioned that he has also heard something that, hey, there's going to be more, and some of them might surprise you. And I saw a bunch of people commenting, like, do you mean like Master Chief? Do you mean, some of these huge Xbox, like, identity level characters or franchises? And there wasn't any kind of response to that. And I apologize for not being able to find that, but maybe someone else will have a link to that in the comments. A couple of things. I will also link this. This is a podcast, a live stream that the author of that article, John Clark, and maybe another editor there at Xbox Era did, and they talk a little bit more about it. And they kind of start right around the 5-minute mark, maybe go back to 4:30. They start talking about this article and the traction it's gotten, and they are very like loose with their language. They say, now there are plans, they may change. And so just hearing them talk about it makes me kind of walk back my confidence on how, not necessarily true this is, but how stable this information is. But watch that if you're interested in maybe getting a little bit more clarity on some of the in-between-the-lines stuff. And then I also wanted to bring this up, which, again, I think is another piece of information that further corroborates what we've heard so far. And this is Xbox Era's article, but they actually mention The Verge writes this. So let's go over to The Verge. I want to give them credit. And who was the author here? Tom Warren, senior editor there. He had heard separately, so a separate source and a separate news site, Tom Warren over at The Verge, reports that Bethesda's upcoming Indiana Jones game is also tentatively set to launch on Sony's PlayStation 5 console. That's a little bit bigger of a deal if it's launching on PlayStation 5 console and it's not necessarily a timed exclusive for Xbox. That's a pretty big shift in strategy for Xbox and strategy for their games. That's a great article, though. It says, continues on, a new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside Microsoft, we're told, with the company weighing up which titles will remain exclusive and others that will appear on Switch or PS5 in the future. Indiana Jones appears to be a part of this new wave of multi-platform games. While Bethesda will launch its Indiana Jones game first as an Xbox console exclusive, it's currently set to have a rather short period of exclusivity, we're told. A release for PS5 is being considered for some months later. Okay, so it wouldn't be a launch, as he said in the first sentence, so that's different. But again, all these things are plans, tentative, we're told, maybe, lots of loose language here. maybe targeting, and they continue to say, with Bethesda tentatively targeting a December 2024 launch for Xbox and PC versions, maybe like a Christmas game, and then maybe coming out to, this is just my speculation, maybe coming out to PlayStation sometime that next spring. He goes on to has a tweet or an X here. I can confirm that the Hi-Fi Rush data mine is legit, and these t-shirt texture files are in the game. Looks like Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PS5 and Nintendo Switch, kind of going to our the old Hi-Fi Rush rumor that was out a few weeks. Let's see. Another piece of information that I think is helpful, and I'm going to kind of stop throwing information at you and give you some of my opinions. I feel like I'm doing things backward. Most YouTubers and content creators, they want to throw their opinions out at you with like just a grain of information. So I wanted to collect all this information, give it to you first, because this is what the actual news is. Hopefully that will help downplay the rumor side of this and not just contribute to a lot of the crap that's going on online. But Tom Warren also mentioned that gaming, this is kind of tangentially related. Gaming is now Microsoft's third largest business, bigger than Windows. Microsoft made $62 billion in quarter two of 2024 fiscal year. Gaming contributed $7.11 billion, more than $5.26 billion from Windows. And there is, let's see, let me blow this a little bit. So gaming is that third, I got it cropped there. Let me bring this back out. Gaming is the third row there. Blow this up real quick for you. Gaming's that third row. You can see 7.11 billion made in the last quarter alone. That's more than half of what they made in the last 6 months. So you can see the Activision Blizzard money is working for them for sure. But that's not a huge part of the puzzle. That is just something I wanted to kind of add to the problem here. Not the problem, but like the equation. And then this is from Windows Central. This is Jez's article about kind of the whole Starfield coming out on PlayStation and his kind of higher level thoughts on the whole ordeal. So again, I'll link that. Check that out. Let's come back here to the Constellation launch. So, let me take a breath. What do I think about this? Honestly, like I have never been, I know lots of people call me fanboy, but I'm a Starfield fanboy for sure. Yeah. I'm not an Xbox fanboy. I've never had the mindset of console exclusivity is like, is a good thing or it's a bad thing. Like it's a business tactic, right? It's a business strategy. And so for gamers, I connect with Phil Spencer and Xbox's public desire to make more games playable in more places for more players. Like that is good for us, and that is most likely good for them. You know, if they can make it make business sense, that's a good deal for them. They can make more money in more places. Doesn't necessarily have to be within their house. So I can definitely see where this strategy would lead them to have only timed exclusives for some games. For other games, much like the Call of Duties and the Blizzard games and other Activision games, you know, they would just launch on PlayStation, at the same date with all the same features. So I don't think this is a bad thing if it happens. I was always and leading up to Starfield, amidst all the hype and amidst all the fun stuff we did, I was always of the conviction that it may come to PlayStation. Like I never thought it was going to launch on PlayStation. It was such a big part of Xbox's kind of redemption arc. I use that term loosely, more of in a creative way. It was more of a title, a part of their redemption arc in 2023. Since 2022 was so light for them, 2023 needed to be a good year, and Starfield played a big role in that. Not necessarily only financially. I think it probably did financially, but also just in the public perception. They needed a good launch. They needed a banger, of a game, and I think Starfield released quite well. Definitely, I feel like it. I don't know what their expectations were internally. I know they were really high. I know Starfield has got a lot of negative press and a lot of negative reviews, but it's a solid game. And so, especially if you're watching at this point into the video, you probably like Starfield and enjoy this kind of stuff. So I not that I feel vindicated in that, but I feel like, yeah, this makes sense to me. It totally makes sense that, the next Elder Scrolls will eventually be on PlayStation. It totally makes sense that the next Fallout will eventually be on PlayStation. Maybe, probably even your kitchen fridge, right? How many times they've remade or republished Skyrim. So this isn't a shock to me. It's surprising that maybe this information is leaking out so soon, kind of after the acquisition last year and after Starfield's release. I know it's several months old at this point, but I think making the decision to, if all this is true and the plans stay the same, again, if it's stable, if it's legitimate, if it's true, if it's stable, if they can continue on with these plans and it continues to make sense, then I think this is a good move for them. Short term, at least, right? I'm not smart enough and know enough about the business and how markets shift and what the economy is doing now and the cost of game development. I'm not smart enough to know long term what this could do. Jez gets into that a little bit in his article, which again I find fascinating. Definitely check that out. But just for short term, it makes perfect sense. They would do timed exclusivities with big games like Starfield. Try to bring as many people into the Xbox ecosystem as they can, but not necessarily lean on that for all of your revenue. Lots of people have been Xing, what do you call it? Posting on X, how Phil Spencer has lied and going back on his word and all this stuff. And I've never taken anything they've said about things launching as exclusives or, hey, it's going to be an exclusive right now as forever and always. These will always be exclusives. Like, you just can't really make emphatic, never changing statements like that anyway in an industry as fluid and as crazy as the games industry. So I've never taken that. I think anyone serious, about following this stuff, they've never taken it as to be like, okay, Halo will always be an Xbox exclusive. Like, things could change. Microsoft could sell Xbox to Sony. Probably would never happen, but they could sell Xbox to Nintendo or whatever. Just like there was some rumors going around back when the big leak happened and we got some documents from Phil Spencer. Like, he's like, hey, I would be really interested in acquiring Nintendo. Like, you can never say that, Zelda will never be on a PlayStation or never be on an Xbox. You just can't say things like that because anything can happen. But as far as like launching, what our plans are right now, they can say things like that. And I truly believe like maybe at that point, they did have plans just to keep it exclusive for the lifetime of the product. But as we can see in some of this reporting, it seems like Microsoft, this reporting is like, okay, people just got out of a meeting. This is kind of what it seems like to me. I'm visioning this in my head. People just got out of a meeting, and whoever the leaker or the contact is like messaging, these people like, hey, listen, this is what's going down. So who knows? This information could be a couple months old at this point, and maybe Xbox is doing a controlled release of this, leaking this information to kind of, feel what the public sentiment is about it. Who knows? They have all kinds of strategy for that stuff. But as for me, I'm not shocked by it. I think it makes sense. I'm not mad that I bought an Xbox for this game. I've had a blast with it. I'm not mad because I've had countless hours of fun on my Xbox through Game Pass and other games. I have a PlayStation, and I have a ton of fun on my PlayStation as well. Like, there's no reason for, especially for all the hateful comments that people say online about. I don't know. I'm an old guy. I don't understand people being mean to other people. Like, just if you don't agree with someone, just go on or make a valid argument and have a conversation about it. But yeah, so if you're out there and you are an Xbox fan or you're a fan of this channel and this news does strike you the wrong way, take a breath before you post anything. Don't do anything mean or just to upset anyone else or troll anyone. There are much better things to do with your time out there. So if you're still watching at this point, again, you're probably a fan of the channel. And I don't have to tell you that, because fans of this channel are probably, like me, just enjoy being kind to other people, even people you disagree with. It's a novel idea. That is all we have for today for the reporting of all this. Just wanted to get this information out to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If I've missed anything, if there's another piece of the puzzle that shifts the equation a little bit, if this will probably be an evolving story over the next week as more people report on it, as more people reach out to corroborate the info. It could be that Microsoft sees maybe public backlash and walks back on it. Could be that they see people saying, yeah, okay, yeah, PlayStation fans would love that. And they're like, okay, well, let's double down on it. I'm sure they have some good plans. But anyway, thank you for watching today. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're not already. We'd love for you to join the Signal crew. But for now, may you find wonder as you journey through the stars. I'll see you in the next video.